Now this comes with a notice to me. Please do not remove. Very good.
I thought you put that there.
Much needed notice.
It's like at the dentist's office.
Huh? Good. These are innovative ways of handling situations. I like it. Very creative. ठीक है. We'll chant the whole thing because it's good to practice reading in tune, in sync. Even though in the beginning, in sync is spelled S-I-N-K, right?
Sinking.
So, ready? Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinnavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi. Nimittam manashchakshuradi pravrittau nirastakhilopadhirakashakalpaha. Very good. Ravirlokacheshta nimittam yathayah. San together, yeah. Yamagnyushnavanitya bodhaswarupaha. Yamagnyushnavanitya bodhaswarupaha. Manashchakshuradinya bodhatmakani. Pravartanta ashritya nishkampamekam. Mukhabhasako darpane drishyamano. Mukhatvat prithaktvena naivasti vastu. Chidabhasako dhishu jivopi tadvat. Chidabhasako dhishu jivopi tadvat. Yatha darpana bhava abhasahano. Mukham vidyate kalpana hinamekam. Tathadhi viyoge nirabhasako yaha. Manashchakshuradirviyukta swayam yaha. Manashchakshuradihi. Manashchakshuradeeragamya swarupaha. Yathane. Oh, did I miss one? Yeah. Ya eko vibhati svata shuddha chetaha.
Ya eko vibhati svata shuddha chetaha.
Not chetaha. Chetaha. Ya eko vibhati svata shuddha chetaha.
Ya eko vibhati svata shuddha chetaha.
Prakasha swarupopi nanevadhishu.
Prakasha swarupopi nanevadhishu.
Sharavodakastho yatha bhanurekaha.
Sharavodakasto yatha bhanurekaha. Sanityopaladhi swarupo hamatma.
Yatha nekachakshuf prakasho ravirna.
Yathaneka chakshu prakasho ravirna.
Kramena prakashi karoti prakashyam.
Kramena prakashi karoti prakashyam.
Anekadhiyo yastathaika prabodhaha.
Anekadiyo yastathaika prabodhaha. Sanityopaladhi swarupo hamatma.
Vivasvat prabhatam yatha rupamaksham.
Vivasvat prabhatam yatha rupamaksham.
Pragrinhati nabhatamevam vivasvan.
Pragrinhati nabhatamevam vivasvam.
Vivasvan.
Vivasvan.
Yada bhata abhasayatyakshamekah.
Yada bhata abhasayatyakshamekah.
Yada bhata abhasayatyakshamekah.
Yada bhata abhasayatyakshamekah. Sanityopaladhi swarupo hamatma.
Yatha surya ekopsvanekaschalasu.
Yatha surya eko vyasvanekashasu.
Yatha surya
Yatha surya
ekopsvanekaschalasu.
eko svanekashasu.
Sthirasu. Let's break it up because there is no way to do it in a full way. It will be difficult. Sthirasu
Sthirasu
api
api
ananvag vibhavya swarupaha.
ananvag vibhavya swarupaha.
Sthirasvapyananvag vibhavya swarupaha. Sthirasvapyananvag vibhavya swarupaha. Chalasu prabhinnasu dhishvevamekah. Chalasu prabhinnasu dhishvevamekah. Sanityopalabdhi swarupo hamatma. So here we are discussing this part. In verse number 8, I wanted to point this out because I didn't do it the extent I wanted to last time because we were running out of time. Vivasvat prabhatam yatha rupamaksham pragrinhati. Pragrinhati means grasps. How the eyes grasps the nature of the form, provided the form is lit up. And then it says what? If the form is not lit up, then what happens? They don't grasp. Now, what is the reason to say this? There is a very, subtle thing that is going on here. Very profound yet subtle thing. Because you cannot say just to fill up the meter, he is saying na bhatam evam in the same manner if it is not lit up. So, it is showing two things. One which we have discussed at length, that the dependency of the eyes on a source of light, whether it's sun or this kind of electricity, which is also based on the sun, to see a form. That we have discussed. But then what is here talked about is the two levels where the word sun has been discussed. The two levels. One is Adhibhuta sun, What is the Adhibhuta sun? The sun that is clouded over today, appropriately in response to verse number 10, which is going to soon come. And you will see why. And so, which sun are we talking about? The sun we all know and love and want it to come out every day. That sun is called Adhibhuta sun, centered on the elements, centered on the surroundings. So that sun, which is a luminary, which has just the function of making the eyes see. Okay? But then it's also talking, when it says Nabhatam, it is talking of the sun in that way. But then when it says Vivaswan, I told you it is making a shift into Tatpada Vakya, Tatpada Vichara. And when it says that sun I am, which even lights up the fact that this sun comes and goes. So you see that sun is, and it's very interesting, should we call it Adhideva sun, meaning the sun who is in the charge, or who is in the form of Ishvara, which is the laws, which manages the laws, which sustains all the orders of the universe, including the order of the revolution of the planets and the day and the night, and the apparent motion of the sun circling the earth or any planet, so that certain areas have light turn by turn. So are we talking of that Ishvara when you say sun? Yes, we are. Or are we talking about the sun of the sun, S-U-N, in both cases, the sun of all suns, which unlike the Adhibhuta sun, never extinguishes itself, which is in the form of eye. The truth is, we are talking of both. That is what I wanted to point out. That's why it's a Mahavakya. And after having built up from the Tvampada, very beautifully it transcends into a Mahavakya, because that Vivaswan, that Nabhatam, meaning the local Vivaswan, even though Vivaswan is masculine and Nabhatam is actually used in connection grammatically with the eyes. But really speaking, Nabhatam means the local Vivaswan comes and goes. Because why don't the eyes pick up forms? Because sometimes it disappears. And it's a very fickle sun. Sometimes it's in India, sometimes it's in the North American hemisphere, and in the Northern hemisphere, sometimes it's in the South, sometimes it's in the North. And so it's not always unchanging. Like the Adhideva sun, which is unchanging, because the laws are not shifty. The laws are not shifting. The laws are, that's why we call them laws. Like the law of gravity is there constantly all the time available. Otherwise people would be afraid to come to class and sit. If it suddenly just evaporated, then one would hit the head of the ceiling, because you just fly up. Helium balloon can fly up and just slowly touch the ceiling, But if the weight of the human body does that, it's not going to be pretty. Yeah. And you float around somewhere, just crash into things, in space. Nobody would pursue Vedanta. And even if supposing the class was there, the teacher went up first, literally. So, and the teacher is not available because the teacher is waving goodbye from some floating place, hanging out literally. What are we going to do? So therefore, and then even while walking, there is a steady thing. That's why you can take a walk, because that's why people can go running, jogging, because they know that this track, the gravitational force is a law. It's not going to change. That's why with full confidence you can go walking, jogging, running, any activity. And so too with the atmospheric activity of the sun shining and everything, it's governed by a law that we talked about, which is there in the Taittiriya Upanishad. Bhishasmat vatah pavate, the whole universe is there because of whom, because of the because of the fear of whom, fear is within quotes, things function. The sun rises and sets. Under whose command? That's how we have to take. And so, when you talk about Bhagavan, that also we have to see as the sustainer and the creator of the laws, which the whole Jagat is in the form of the order. And the beauty of it is that this Ishvara that we are talking about, this the second level Vivaswan, the son of the sun that we are talking about, this Ishvara is not a mandate of the order, but is manifest as the order. The very order is Bhagavan, cannot be separated from Bhagavan. Otherwise you have a person sitting on a throne, a gilded throne with a whip, and whipping the poor Surya and whipping Vayu into shape, whipping Agni in the fire retarded stick. You cannot whip Agni with a regular stick because it will burn. So like this kind of a thing we would have. But we are not talking of the order as a mandate, and this is the truth in all, in all dualistic philosophies and theologies. They end here because they think of the order as a mandate of God. We say that wherever there is order, there is Bhagavan. Yeah. And the disorder is a part of the order. Yes. Every order brings with it the seeds of its own, destruction. When it's not needed, it folds up, it becomes chaotic, and then it goes. Finished, it's done. That order is not needed anymore. Like the dinosaurs. They left their egg and petrified bones. They probably left a lot of people also petrified if the people were around then. We have all these skeletons literally coming out of the snow thanks to global warming into the light. There is one fellow, Art Z, and quite a character. They have reconstructed him. We don't know if he was, what he thought of the dinosaurs, we don't know. He didn't say much. And so like this, and there's one Lucy, the ancestress, our common ancestress, one of the 5 matriarchs who has given birth, Jagat Jananis, who has given birth to the entire human race. It's, all these variations, this is Bhagavan, traced to 5 matriarchs. It is just astounding to me. It's amazing. And so like this, we have all these, possibilities, and then that wherever you see the order and the possibility, yatra yatra order asti, tatra tatra, Bhagavad darshanam. That is where you have darshan of Bhagavan. That is what you call darshan. You don't have to go outside the order, because outside the order is just madness. That's all there is. There is nothing outside the order. It encompasses, this so-called order encompasses the entire Jagat, including this body-mind sense complex, which follow the order of the cosmos. And what about the witness of this order? Can you say the witness of the order is outside the order? Okay, let us say the witness of the order is outside the order. Where is the witness sitting? Where is the witness sitting to view this order? There should be a location, correct? Because the witness should have a place from which to see this order. And so for those people who are wondering if the witness is within the order or outside the order, I will just refer you to a recent conversation of astronomers over the question of the Milky Way galaxy, which is ours, right? We are in the Milky Way right now. Agreed? Yes. Good. I love it when there is consensus. And then there is the other galaxy which is next to our neighbor, Andromeda. Yeah, this Andromeda is a bad boy, yes, or girl. We don't know whether it's feminine or masculine, but it's bigger than the Milky Way, and apparently it is progressing towards, and the Milky Way is a galaxy. It has its wings and arms, and it has a big black hole in the center, and the Andromeda has a bigger black hole in the center. It also is waving about its arms and legs, and is circling like a big Vishnu chakra in the in the universe, coming closer and closer at an alarming rate. So the scientists say, alarming only from one standpoint. It is several thousand light years away. Don't worry, nothing is going to happen. But then eventually, what is the projected story is that when two galaxies collide, it's not polite, it's not pretty. Okay? Why is it not polite? Well, because the wings, they merge. That's why it's not polite. And it's not polite because in the process of merging, the bigger galaxy, quote unquote, does swaha to the smaller one. Now, which is the smaller one? Milky Way. Yes, correct. So this Andromeda is a big bully, and it's arriving. And then, according to the astronomers, certain projections they have done based on some other, nobody has observed this, based on some other projections, they have made some other projection. It's all Anumana galore. It is Anumana, inference upon inference upon inference upon inference. Inference several light years removed. That's all it is. So here this Andromeda comes. This is the projection. Here is this Milky Way spinning innocently, and Andromeda comes, and then the two black holes merge and become one massive black hole, and the arms also merge and become one. And the astronomers wonder, where should we be sitting to witness this grand event? First of all, they don't even know where the Earth is located in the Milky Way. Where they forget Earth. Solar Earth is a little, small little, not even a pixel. So where is the whole entire solar system, which is barely a pixel? Because next to the solar system is this Betelgeuse. Yeah. Betelgeuse is this fat sun that makes our sun, look like it's non-existent, look like a little dot. So it's even that you have to kind of do some inference to find out where are we located in the Milky Way. Nobody really knows. There are approximations, there are theories, there are all kinds of inferences. So then the astronomers happily or otherwise, what do they conclude? That if the dress circle seats, if the box seats are close to the black hole, then we won't be able to see much, because we may be in the danger of being suctioned, vacuumed up, hoovered up by this black hole. Which one, don't ask, because they are uniting, and I told you it's neither pretty nor polite. And so you may be hoovered up in the process, and there is nothing left. So you cannot say clap, 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 what is Show Bhagavan, correct? And then if you are at the very end of one of the tails of the wings, then the tail is going to be lopped off. That's where lopaha comes from. Adarsanam lopaha. And so lopped off, meaning it's just going to fall off, like the tail of the comet. Somewhere it's just going to burn off. And that also is not a very good sightseeing place, to book your seats when this grand event, this grand universal event happens. So the astronomers conclude that the safest and the best place, even though the best place is near the black hole, it's not safe. So somewhere in the middle of the wing, not too close to the black hole and not too far out into the wing, is the best place that will help you survive this massive restructuring of the universe. From the standpoint of the universe, it's a small little adjustment. It's just one small swaha. It's nothing. Probably things like this are happening all the time, and Hubble is not grown up yet to document that. Hubble is a small baby. It's not even able to say goo goo ga ga. That's all it says. Ga for galaxy. That's all it can say. It doesn't know even how to talk. It needs to do a lot of growing up in terms of, cameras and in terms of the depth perception and everything. It doesn't know anything. It's a baby. And so really, so therefore, So how moot is this question? Where should we be sitting to witness this grand, once in a millennium, once in, trillennium event? Just like that, this question, if the order is Bhagavan and it's the manifestation of Bhagavan, what about the witness? Where should the witness sit and witness the unfolding Bhagavan in the form of the order? This is exactly Arjuna's question. That's why the 11th chapter, after the 11th chapter, when he saw Bhagavan Krishna completely, then what happened? Nothing. 12th chapter continued. Yeah, nothing happened. Because he got frightened. And then this is what it says, Dvaitadhi bhayam bhavati. When you separate yourself, when the witness, tries to separate itself from the witnessing the order, and that the order is non-separate from that witness consciousness, which is Nitya Upalabdhi Swarupaha Atma, which is Aham, which is defined here as Aham repeatedly after every verse. So when you separate yourself, you do not understand the order, much less, that's the least of our problems, not understanding the order, but immediately one gets frightened of the order because it is separate from you. So where should I sit to witness the order? Sit where Bhagavan sits, because that's what you are. That witness is one undifferentiated consciousness that manifests in a different body, just like the sun in many pots of water, as has been illustrated. It manifests differently in various bodies without really any restraint and without turning into those bodies, taking on the dharma, the attributes, the so-called limitations of those bodies. Okay? So this is something which is very, very grand and very beautiful. And so having established that in the 7th verse, in the 8th verse, then in the 9th verse it comes back to the question of, if I am Bhagavan, then ... then why am I in this body? Then how come the mind is like this? How come I have to say never mind to the mind all the time, One person says. How come I have to mind the mind all the time? Another sadhaka says. How come I have to say mind you to the mind all the time? And so that answer is given in the next, in the verse number 9. Yatha, same, using the sunlight. One Surya, Ekaha Surya, Ekaha Apsu, Anekaha Chalasu, Ekaha Surya, Apsu, Chalasu, Sthirasu, Apsu, Prabhinnati, yeah, something like that. Bhinna, Prabhinnasu, Vibhavya Swarupaha. So the same sun, what does the sun do? The sun just shines. And here is another similarity between sun and Atma sun. The Atma sun also shines. And you cannot, even though the word shines is a verb, you cannot say that the sun is engaged in action when it shines. Can you say that? Because it cannot not shine. Oh, but what about night? It is shining elsewhere, okay? Yeah. So, the sun cannot not shine. So that means the shine of the sun is not an action. Because if it is an action, it should be able to withdraw from that action. Because otherwise, if it's a constant action, it's one's nature really. If something is doing something all the time, it's not really considered a doing. So the Atma also shines, and that Atma which lights up even the sun, is it really an action? No, because there is no will involved. Oh, I don't think I'm going to shine on those guys who are robbing a bank. No. And likewise, the Atma does not say, all bad thoughts I'm not going to bring to light. I mean, it would be nice if it said that, but it doesn't. It does not. Sad thought comes to light. Not a savory thought comes to light. I want to biff this fellow on the head, immediately comes to light. Even before Tattvamasi, the biffing thought comes to light. oh, this idiotic fellow is useless, immediately comes to light. So therefore, the Atma is totally undiscerning. There is no volition involved in this quote unquote shining up or lighting up the thoughts. Just like in the sun, there is no volition involved in shining, in directing the light to certain activities and certain phenomena and withdrawing the light from certain others. There is no volition. Sun means it is the shining Swarupa. And that is what is called Vibhavya Swarupa. Vibhavya means, Vibhasa Yogya. So that which is capable of shining all the time and unchanging shining nature. And then Ananvak means that which cannot give up its nature. Anvak means going in accordance, going in accordance to or going along with the changes around. Anvak Vibhavya means, supposing it had not, negated that, Anvak Vibhavya Swarupaha means going in accordance to all other circumstances which may determine the shining or the non-shining. Meaning, the shining is dependent upon all other situations. But here, the sun's shine is not dependent on anything else except itself, correct? Yeah. So, Ananvag means that which does not change in reaction or in response to other things around it that may change. Ananvag Vibhavya Swarupaha, unchanging, shining nature of both the sun and this consciousness that happens to be I, the witness of everything. And then what? So, when the shining happens on a still body of water, whether it's the sun or the moon, you say, how beautiful, look at the sun in the water. So lovely. And the moon even lovelier. Yeah, Lord Rama had a, baby Lord Rama. When he was a baby, took the entire palace on his head. And here was this much sought after baby. They had not had a baby after several years of marriage. And then what happened? When this baby was born, Lord Rama was born, everybody was happy. Everybody was wanting to keep this prince regent, this small baby prince, the heir to the throne, happy, and he was so cute. He was Bhagavan, of course he will be cute. And then, this Bhagavan is born as though in the human body. And this Lord Rama is, one day looks at the moon and says, I want the moon. And everybody tries to say, it's so far away, and look, we are trying to reach it, it's not coming. And he just goes blue in the face. That's why he's blue. One explanation. So, he cries, makes himself blue in the face. And sometimes children are scary because when they'll take a breath while they are crying, and you're waiting for them to exhale and the breath doesn't come out, and they are still choking, and they're crying, and it's very scary to watch. And of course, all the palace people, the governess, the mother, the King Dasharatha, everybody got very scared. And suddenly they had an idea. Brought a shallow plate filled with water and put it out in the royal courtyard and said, look, we have brought you the moon. And baby Lord Rama was very happy. First he saw the moon, full, complete. What is that? Sthirasu apsu. In the still waters he saw the moon. And then splash, he put a hand because he wanted to catch the moon. Right? And then what happened? Prabhinnasu apsu. In the disturbed water he saw that. Chalasu apsu, he saw that. And then he said, wait, where did the moon go? I just had it in my hand. And then he saw fragmented pieces of moon coming out of his fat little fingers, chubby fingers. The moon is slipping away, and he said, "Oh, where did that go?" And by this time, the plate of water had become still again, and there was the moon, bright, full. He said, "Oh, let's do this again. Let's catch it this time with both hands." And he caught it with both hands, and then again the moon became disturbed, as it were. And the whole time the moon is there, undisturbed. Correct? Mm-hmm. Same thing with the sun. The sun is there undisturbed. Whether you look at it in a clear body of water, it is undisturbed. Or if you look at it in a rippled body of water, even though it looks disturbed, it is not disturbed. What is disturbed is the water, and the disturbance in the water is projected onto the sun. And take a few other scenarios. Let's say you take some sludge and mix it in a, pot of water. And then, the reflection is murky, a very dirty reflection. Is the sun become dirty? Does it need to be dusted? No. And then what you do is you strain all the mud, you let it settle down, let it clarify again. And then you say the sun is clear? No, the sun was always clear. Then you take another pail of water, mix it with some cow dung before you run away, because the odor. And then, does the bad smell of the cow dung transfer to the sun? The sun starts to smell bad? No. Then you take another pail of water and then mix it with some rose attar, rose scent, or some very famous perfume. There is one perfume, Samsara. Yeah. It's really called Samsara. And and then you spray that onto the surface and you say, Samsara. For a change, it's not malodorous, this samsara. Wonderful.